So a lot of you watching this video have probably come here from the first lesson where I said that this video wouldn't take more than 3 minutes. Well, now you know that I'm a liar. We're going to go over powers and primes, starting off with powers. For most of these slides, we'll be using the example of 3 raised to the power 2. So what a lot of you think, or might think, is that, okay, 3 raised to the power of 2, all you have to do is multiply 3 by 2 and that's the answer. Well, it's not. When this notation 3 to the power 2 means the number 3 is multiplied by itself 2 times. So that would make it 3 multiplied by 3, which gives us 9, which is the correct answer. Take the example of 2 raised to the power of 3. As I said earlier, you multiply the number 2 by itself. So 2 multiplied by 2, 3 times. So 2 times 2 times 2, which will give us 8. And 3 raised to the power of 3 multiplies 3 times 3 3 times. So 3 times 3 times 3, because the power here is 3, the same thing in the previous example, which gives us, that's not 9, it's actually 27. Moving on. Here's a simple way to think about powers. I like to imagine a tree. If you have 3 raised to the power 2, what I like to do is I take the power, which is in this case 2, and I draw lines extending from it, and the number of lines is equal to the number itself. In this case, the power is 2, so I draw 2 lines extending from that, and at the end of those lines I place the number 3, and between these threes you can imagine a multiplication sign. So it's 3 multiplied by 3, which gives us 9. Similarly, for 2 to the power 3, you'll take the power, which is 3, and since it's the number 3, you'll draw 3 lines extending from it. And at the end of those 3 lines, you'll put the number 2. And imagine multiplication signs between these numbers. So it would be 2 times 2 times 2, which gives us 8. So in your non-calculator papers, you will not have the ability to just calculate the power 2 of any number on your calculator. So some of these, the ones in this table, are important to memorize because you need to know them, whether you like it or not. And they're pretty easy. So next up is primes. Primes are numbers that can be divided only by themselves and by the number 1. So examples of these are 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 19. If you haven't noticed already, most of these are odd numbers. And in fact, 2 is the only even prime number, while all the others are odd. In addition, 0 is not a prime number because, as I said in my first video, in lesson 1, you cannot divide something by 0. So you can't divide 0 by itself, which means 0 is not a prime number because 0 divided by 0 is not a legitimate calculation. Lastly, 1 is a prime number because you can divide it by 1, and I'll give you 1. And since it can be divided by 1, it's a prime number. So that's all for this video. As for the next video, I have no idea what it's going to be about, so YOLO.